It's the third week in December, and if you're like many business leaders, you're about ready to pull your hair out. Of course, you have all the personal things that you're managing, trying to get ready for the holidays, but it's also that time of year where you're wrapping up the plan and trying to bring business across the finish line. And you're also trying to meet with all of your direct reports and have those year end performance conversations. In both situations, you're probably guided by a plan that you set back in January. And in both situations, you're probably also finding out just how faulty the thinking is that in January you can anticipate what business success looks like in December. I mean, just look at how many of the goals that you wrote back in January still applied here in December. As you're reviewing progress and trying to close the gaps, you see that what you wrote in January no longer matters, or that things shifted so significantly that the goal seems out of date. You start second guessing your ability and prepare to have many awkward conversations with your employees as you're not really sure how to measure their performance or the progress of the company. Many leaders, maybe you, are wondering, how did this happen? Let me explain in terms of what we call systems thinking. Many leaders have developed a faulty definition for what leadership is because they don't know what system they're operating in. See, many leaders believe that a good leader can plan, organize, direct, and control their way to success. So they spend inordinate amounts of time creating a plan and then spend even more time forcing that plan to work. And what really happens is while they're planning and executing, the world changes around them. They were too busy executing the plan to notice what changed, let alone personally connecting with the employees who are trying to make the plan work. This is a leadership paradigm gathered from a time when business structure was what we would call a complicated system. Like components of a car engine, for example, each system functioning on its own right to produce the desired effect. The standalone systems have many moving parts, yet each system has a predictable pattern of producing its output. A good plan goes a long way with this level of predictability in the system. Yet the business environment today is not a complicated system. It moves at a much faster pace with a lot more volatility and interconnectedness between the variables. It's what we would call a complicated system. Today's business environment functions much more like an ecosystem that needs to stay in balance for all the organisms to flourish. And an ecosystem has no plan. It's responsive to the many changes going on around it, and it works together for the benefit of the whole. A leader who shifts their paradigm leading a complex system versus a complicated system will be much more adaptive and responsive, employing much more experimentation and including many more learning loops. A responsive leader relies on their team much more, and as a result, is more in tune with the human elements of performance rather than the rational elements of execution. So if you find yourself exhausted from planning and executing this December, it's probably time that you step back and reflect. It's probably time that you make 2024 a different year. It's probably time that you change the way that you're leading and your definition of leadership. Allow yourself to relax and relax the urge specifically to plan and control your way to success in 2024. You'll experience a lot more freedom that comes with responding to the micro changes that are going around you in the business environment rather than trying to control every single thing. And you'll experience much more joy and creativity, and your employees will experience much more empowerment. Everyone wins when you learn to lead a complex system, and you're going to enjoy your 2024 holidays much more.